In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use your pattern to make fabric uppers. This is so easy and it's a great way to use the scraps or have your shoes match your garments. So for this process, you will need some lining, your pattern, fabric, glue, a brush, tracing pencil, some scissors, a ruler or measuring tape, and why not add a cute little label to finish off your fabric shoes. This is the mini hands from Kylie and the Machine. So I'll just pop this over here. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is trace this pattern onto our lining. So I'll move everything out of the way. Okay, pop this down like that. So for this piece, we're going to follow this exact outline here. We don't need any allowance for this. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to cut this out now and then we'll move on to the next stage. I always like to do a rough cut first and then do my good cut. Okay, so it should look like this. So we'll pop this to the side. Now we'll get our fabric. Okay. Use that as a weight. Okay. So now we're going to do the same thing. Pop our pattern piece in. And then this time, rather than tracing along this edge, I'm going to give it an allowance. So it can be anywhere between 5 mil to 10 mil. I'm just going to do dashed lines. This doesn't really matter too much. This will all get hidden, so I'm not going to be too precious. The key here is just making sure that your pattern stays in place. Okay, so like that. Okay, so I'll use some fabric scissors for this. Again, I'm just going to do a rough cut first and then I'll do my good cut. Okay, so now you have this piece and this piece, and this is going to sit in there like that. So we're going to glue these two together and then we're going to fold this edge over. So we get our glue and we just apply a nice even coat of glue all over this surface. Okay, cool. For this, you want to attach when it's still a little bit wet, and this is kind of sticky and coming off on my finger, so that's good. You don't want it to be too dry. So let's just because it's fabric, it's different when it's leather. Okay. Try and get it as centered as possible. Okay. And then so it'll look like that. I've got a little bit of, I need a bit of help on here, like that. So much glue. So we are now at the stage where we've got our lining glued to our fabric, and you'll notice that I've actually taken the allowance off the sides here because we actually don't need to worry about stitching them. It's just along this top and bottom section. So let's just see what it's looking like on this side. Like that. Okay. So we're going to put some notches in to help relieve the tension. So I'll just do some little cuts like that. And then some little cuts like that. And the reason why I've got this fresh paper underneath is that we have to be very careful that the surface underneath the fabric has no glue, especially with something like a silk like this, which just wants to soak up any glue. And rather than using this Aquilum because it's so wet, which means that it has a really high probability of causing leakage and running through the fabric along these edges, I'm actually going to use a glue like this, and it's just for placement. So it's not a structural thing, it's just to hold it in position for when we do some stitching. Like that. Okay, and now all we need to do is just fold over and it should stick. This is a bit of a bump, so I'm just going to get in there, get that down. Okay, so now it looks like this. You can just go over it a little bit more. I can actually see that the glue has leaked through the back of this lining, so I'm being really mindful of this area to not push down because this lining kind of acts a bit like a sponge. So if I was to push down there, there's a high probability that that glue is actually going to seep up through here. So that's just something to be mindful of. Okay, so now we just need to attach this to some more lining. So we're going to bring this over like that. Like this. And then we'll just, again, we'll just mark So now we're going to glue this piece to this piece. But before we do that, let's remember to attach our little cute little label so that it is popping out the side like that, which will look really cute. So I'll do it in line with this. Actually, I'll come up one, go like that. Like that. So now we can just bring this in, pop that down, and bring those two together. Kind of want to do it on a bit of a curve. All right, there we go. We've got a little label, and now we just need to stitch along this line and along this line. Okay, so we've just come back from the sewing machine and we've done our stitching. So along there and along there. We haven't worried about these bits because they're going to be wrapped under your insole anyway. All right, so now what we want to do is trim away this excess lining material. Just show you how it is on that side too. So I like to make sure that there's separation right on this edge, just so that I can get my scissors to get into that nook. Okay, like that. Let's get some scissors. First of all, I'm just going to trim off the excess thread. Okay, now let's get in here. See how I'm going down on a bit of an angle. Just going to take my time. Like that. So now we'll do this side. Make sure that's all pulled back. Okay. It's a little bit hard up here, so I'll just go over that again. Now remember, it is supposed to be sitting like this, so it's okay if there's a little bit of bubbliness here. That's because it's flat and we've glued it together on an arch, so when it sits over the foot, it will sit more flush. How cute is this? Okay, so now I'll cut these bits off and then we're good to do some lasting. So for the lasting section, for the lasting stage, just follow the same process as in the main tutorials.